I've been really fortunate to have attended every one of the Camp RZR East events that Polaris has put on over the past couple of years. Every one I've been to has exceeded my expectations. Of course, the past 2 seasons, Camp RZR has been at Brimstone Recreation in Tennessee, which is very familiar to us. We travel there all the time. And those events were great. I mean, you want to talk about people who are proud of a vehicle they own. You just needed to attend one of those events. This year, though, Polaris decided to move it up to New Hampshire, to the Jericho Mountain State Park. So on top of wanting to see what Camp RZR East was all about in its new location, there was one other thing I wanted to do on this trip, something I've been wanting to do for a while, and that was I wanted to bring my wife along.
When Luke asked me to come on this trip, I definitely couldn't say no. He goes to all these cool places, and I wanted to go with him.
Instead of going to Camp RZR, having a blast, coming back and telling her about it, I'm just gonna bring her with me. She can have a blast with me. It'll be a great opportunity for her to see what I do, and it'll be a great opportunity for us to spend some time together, getting away, going on sort of an extended date night, if you will.
It's comfortable. I like it. When we arrived at Camp RZR, I was so surprised to see so many side-by-sides in one place. First day, it was rainy, and there was still a lot of people at the event.
So Camp RZR is a 2-day event, it always has been, and they split up the events that are going on between the 2 days pretty equally. Unfortunately for us, day 1 was really rainy and pretty cold. I mean, it poured rain like crazy.
Some of the things I liked watching the most while at Camp RZR was the prize wheel. Announcer was excellent and everybody got a prize.
Basically the prize wheel, you know, it pretty much, I guess it's self-explanatory. You know, they got a great big spin wheel with a little clacker on the top, and they've got vendors all the way around it. And you come up, you give it a spin, and wherever the little clacker ends up, you get a prize from that vendor. Everybody goes home with a prize, anything from a t-shirt to, in some cases, guys were winning stereo systems, seatbelt, like 4-point harness kits, GoPro bits and pieces. I mean, some of the people got really great prizes, but everybody went away with something. In some cases, maybe you just got a hug from the host. That might be your prize. So no, day 1 at Camp RZR wasn't perfect. The rain definitely put a damper on the festivities, but it certainly proved that Polaris RZR owners, if they are anything, they are intrepid. We managed to make the best of it and have the best time you can possibly have in the rain. And we at least got to check out the event grounds, but the weather looked perfect for day 2. Everybody was just tingling with excitement because they knew the weather was going to be great. It was going to be time to experience the rest of Camp RZR. Camp RZR always offers so many different things for people to do and experience. You know, that's really the great part about Camp RZR is that there's always something to do as a side-by-side or ATV owner. They had things like a mud bog.
And it was fun to see the mud bog. I've never seen anything like that before.
They've never had a mud bog before at a Camp RZR event. It was put on by Highlifter. Highlifter was there in full force as a partner of Polaris. But they had this awesome mud pit laid out. There was like a dry spot in the middle where guys had to climb up and over. They had the big Highlifter inflatable tire, you know, at the start line. And they put on 2 different types of events. You could do just a grudge match, which was where you line up with your buddy. Anybody could do it, rip through the mud, and it was for bragging rights. But then they also had a competition. I don't think it was an official stop on the mud tour, but it was a competition, and there were some guys with some highly modified vehicles. It was entertaining. I mean, they drove side-by-side through the mud bog. A guy in a 50-inch Polaris RZR stock made it the whole way through. Like, I was blown away by that.
I think it's messy. Looks like a lot of fun.
Emmy and I really enjoyed watching the mud bog here at Camp RZR, but there was so many more activities left for just this day alone. On our second day here at Camp RZR in New England, we have so many more exciting things waiting for us, and we're ready to get going.
The part about Camp RZR that I was looking forward to was definitely the scavenger hunt for Sasquatch.
One small problem though, we didn't bring any vehicles with us on this trip. So, lucky for us, Polaris was happy to supply us with a brand new RZR 1000 with the coolest system you've ever seen on any side-by-side vehicle, the Ride Command system. Awesome, the fact that all of the trails in Jericho Park are in the Ride Command system. So for us to find Sasquatch was like, just follow your GPS. Basically what it boils down to is you get some hints about where Sasquatch is going to be set up on the trail. It's your job to use trail map to find that location, and you're going to meet Sasquatch, and they hand out a bunch of free jack links, which is always good. And you get to experience the trails in the area that you're riding. Thanks to my intrepid navigator sitting in the passenger seat, we found Sasquatch and took some pictures with the Sasquatch cutout, and the guys gave us like a truckload of jack link samples, which is great because I love jack links. And Emmy thought it was hilarious to pull up on the side of this mountain where a guy is standing there handing out samples and this cardboard cutout of Sasquatch. She thought that was super funny. Yep. We forgot to bring lunch
Polaris
too,
gave us the new RZR 1000 with the new Ride Command system, and it was really neat. We could listen to music, watch the maps on the GPS, and it was so cool that you could watch your GoPro on the screen.
Of course, there isn't just one Sasquatch to find. There has to be two to keep things interesting. And the second one was at a lookout, a warming cabin, I think they called it. And we didn't know what to expect from this one. We used our GPS the whole way, and we found ourselves up on the side of this mountain. There was a beautiful little log cabin built there. There was a washroom. Obviously the jack links, Sasquatch was there giving out samples, but honestly that was secondary to how cool this spot was. They had a little wooden bench set up on this clearing where you looked out over the valley. I mean, honestly, a beautiful spot to just go to. Even if they hadn't had a jack links set up there, I would have gone to that spot. Emmy and I sat down on the little bench there and looked out over the valley, and we both kind of talked to ourselves about how if this is what riding side-by-sides and ATVs is all about, this is, you know, it's easy to see why this is a sport people love. I mean, you're not going to get to see that any other way. You're not going to get to see a view like that and get to go to a spot like that any other way, anywhere in the world. And we got to do it in our RZRs at Camp RZR. I started to jump into the RZR, and I looked over, and Emmy was looking at me with this look on her face like, this isn't happening. And so I kind of realized we've been married long enough that I knew what that look meant. All right, you're driving me home. Be careful. A little terrifying, not gonna lie.
Luke knows I'm a good driver. I think he was a little bit surprised when I hit the throttle and went a little sideways in the corner, but he assured me that I was a good driver, and it was fun. The RZR was awesome. It had so much power and would slide around the corners and rode really smooth. The second I got home, I wanted to take out one of Dirt Track's RZRs for a little rip. The trails around there are well maintained, and the ride was really smooth. Definitely the best trails I've ever ridden.
She had a ball, she really did, and I'm not gonna lie, I was a little nervous sitting beside her for the first little bit. The further she drove, the more confident I got in her driving abilities, the more comfortable I got, to the point where I basically just sat back and monitored the GoPro on the Ride Command system and let her do her thing. And we made it back unscathed in one piece, and when her helmet came off, man, she had the biggest smile I've seen on her face in a long time. You know, when Polaris does Camp RZR, there's a lot of reasons why you should go. They always give away RZRs, you know, turbos. They give away RZR 1000s with Ride Command. They give away special editions. They give away massive prizes. Anybody who was at the event, who bought a ticket to get to the event, was automatically entered. So you didn't even have to do anything. All you had to do was be there for the concert, and you could win a RZR. Played a game, a Plinko game, and as the chips fell, you either won, a RZR, or you won a sweet prize from some other company, thousands of dollars worth of other prizes. Nobody went home without a couple grand at least. The story of a couple who actually got engaged up on the mountain, up at the lookout that we were at. They stopped alongside the trail, and he got down on one knee and asked his woman to marry him.
I think we may do a little more for him. So I think we've got a brand new 168 horsepower turbo sitting over there that might be a little better for him. What do you think?
They're getting a brand new RZR Turbo as well as a wedding gift, and it's like everybody in the audience just goes silent, like, what is going on? The concert here at Camp RZR, and there's always a big concert. They always bring in a big name, somebody you want to listen to. Fortunately for us, it was big and rich.
I had never been to an outdoor concert like this, and there were so many people. It was awesome and big and rich, put on an excellent show, and it was very entertaining to watch.
But Camp RZR really is a place that you can't know fully until you go. And if you can go, you need to go. Every year I've been, I've had the best time. This year was no different. And I'm on the schedule to go next year. I wouldn't miss it. I wouldn't miss it for the world.
I really enjoyed Camp RZR. I really hope that Luke brings me back on another adventure.
If you've enjoyed watching this Dirt Tracks TV segment, we encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you'll never miss another update.